Eviction notice? What pub you got?
Which one you got?
18.
Yep. No, that's it. Okay. Here you go. I'm sorry, baby. I'm gonna take care of this.
All right.
28 where? The top? At the top?
Yeah.
Over there, huh?
It's 18?
Yeah.
A wave of evictions. That's what one New Orleans official is anticipating.
Some states have extended protections, many have not.
And housing advocates warn we could be headed toward a massive wave of homelessness.
Eviction notice. The second one, I haven't read it yet, but it can't be that nice.
It say owner wants possession of property by August 9th. My life right now is in two people's hands. It's in the government hands. It's in my landlord's hands. The government, they told me to stop working, and they told me that they was gonna fund me because I can no longer work. I put my trust in them.
Right.
My family who didn't put their trust in them, they died. My friends who didn't listen, they died.
Right.
So we stayed home. And in the process, what are you rewarded for staying home?
Nothing.
If it wasn't a pandemic,
Exactly.
the mental, it is sucking everything.
Right. And whatever
out
little funds you got.
What it do? This is your brother Bishop of Bishop's Own TV, and whoo, y'all, family. Can I talk to you real quick? Can we talk? Cause y'all just saw that video. I know you seen it in the video. True black women, sisters, black men, the community. Can we talk? What's going on today will have ramifications that will last a lifetime in the black community. This will impact greatly, trust me, for many generations to come. You just saw that. The sister right there was distraught, was in peril, and she's not the only one. Black women are the most impacted by the housing eviction crisis going on in America right now. Let me repeat that again. Black women are the biggest group or the most impacted by the housing eviction crisis going on in America right now today. Yes, black girl magic. Black girl magic. Strong, independent. I don't need no man. I don't get no joy out of this. Trust me, I don't, because if black women are failing, if black women are losing, guess what? The black community is losing. Yes, the black community is losing. Let me repeat. Can I get an A-mine? Can I get an A-mine? Shouts out to Memphis and East Texas and all them other countries. I'm just joking. If black women fail, the black community falls. And there's a clear correlation to my statement between these eviction notices and the rise in crime within our communities. Now, sisters, I'm not blaming y'all. This ain't a beat up on a sisters thing. This ain't what you think. I love my sisters. How many times I got to say that on these type of videos where I'm critiquing certain things involving black women? Y'all should just know. I shouldn't even have to say it. But let's continue. These outlets, these media outlets, failed to do one thing when discussing black women being the most impacted group here in this country. And that is that a large percentage of these black women, and I'm not saying all, but I'm saying a large percentage of these particular black women that are being evicted at a higher rate than any other group in America happens to be single mothers. Whoa, sisters, come on now. Look, I'm not beating up on single mothers. Hey, y'all doing the best y'all can. Please, don't beat me. Don't Will Smith me. Don't. Keep the bonnet on. Don't hit me with the house slippers, okay, sister? Don't clutch the bathrobe real quick. Just hear me out. Just hear me out. A large percentage of single mothers can't survive in a society where the cost of living is getting higher. Wages are not keeping up with that cost of living. A lot of these single mothers, not all, but a lot of these single mothers work at low-skilled jobs. I'm sorry, that's just what it is. And they can't sustain livability or affordability to live or continue to remain within the cities. These cities that are growing and becoming more expensive by the month, by the minute. Again, I'm not putting this off on the sisters because these women are not having babies by themselves. They're not having babies by themselves. And when I look at this situation that's going on right now, a lot of people are left wondering, well, why is it this way? Why is it such and such? Why, what's going on with the black community? How can we fix this problem? Is it fixable? I don't know. Because this thing right here is actually a generational curse. It's a generational curse. I was born in the mid-'80s. I grew up in the crack era. Now, my parents are still together. I'm not gloating or anything like that. Hey, trust me, my family wasn't perfect. But I grew up in a two-parent household. And growing up in a predominantly black community, that was a working class community, a blue-collar community, for the most part. When I was young, I grew up with children who came from single parent households. You know, I'm a kid. I ain't know nothing about that. I just knew what my family looked like, right? Nothing wrong with that. But now that I'm older, I can look back at the children who grew up in single parent households and the children that grew up in two parent households. And I did notice a stark difference. Oftentimes, especially with young black boys, oftentimes young black boys who grew up in single parent households, not all the time, but god damn it, a large percentage. I ain't throwing shots. Don't get offended. Get out your emotions right now, y'all. Get out your emotions. We having a real conversation right now. But a large percentage of those brothers who grew up in single parent households oftentimes would resort to criminal activity later on in life. That's not to say that young boys that grew up in two parent households didn't experience a life of crime. But just when I look back in my childhood and see some of the brothers that I went to school with, that I associated with, who didn't grow up in the same household as me, it's a pretty stark difference. Statistics show. Statistics. But see, a lot of people don't like to deal with reality. A lot of people get offended when you bring up things like this. But here we are today in 2022, pandemic. Things were already getting pretty bad in certain sections of the Black community, and the pandemic just accelerated those things. It just put what was already there, which was what was already prevalent in our community, in a lot of our communities, a lot of predominantly Black communities, and it just put it into overdrive. In the midst of gentrification, then a pandemic, rise in housing prices, apartments, rental prices. A lot of people just can't keep up. And when a lot of people can't keep up who happen to have children, those children oftentimes grow up and say, my mama's struggling. I need to make something happen. Or my mama working 9 to 5. I ain't got no dad to look after me. I don't have no dad to steer me in the right direction or in a more disciplined direction. So I'm gonna let the streets raise me. Because you have to ask yourself, well then why is crime starting to rise in communities all over the country? There's an uptick in homicides in communities in the city. In many cities in America, big and small. Is there not a correlation between crime and what's going on and what's happening right now with the eviction notices? See, the dismantle of the Black family really can be traced back to one. Well, not one. It was a culmination of many different things, but one thing probably impacted the Black family more than anything, which was the welfare program. Welfare did a number on the Black community. Now, I'm not blaming this on the sisters. I'm not blaming this on y'all. But unfortunately, what happened in the 60s and the 70s gave way to this dysfunction and this lack of unity between the Black man and Black woman. It wasn't the only thing, but again, it helped excel the unity, the disconnect between Black men and Black women. And if you have a disconnect between a Black man and Black woman and it's Black people in this community, then you have a disenfranchised community. You have a imbalanced community. And when you have an imbalanced community, you have distrust amongst each other. You have a toxic environment. Put two and two together. No, I'm not romanticizing the Black community before welfare programs like so many people do. No, I'm not blaming Black women for, receiving welfare. You have to understand that the government was preying on a vulnerable community to begin with. But the fact remains, the government gave Black people the option to accept the welfare programs. And of course, because these people were vulnerable, of course, because these people were struggling, they decided yes. Don't think for one second that it was Black women that went against Black men and joined the women's liberation movement and also decided to get welfare. Because I know a lot of people think that, yes, it was some individual sisters who did join these women movements, these white women liberal movements, the Women's Party. But the large percentage of Black women, I guarantee you, did not join that. I'm talking about the everyday average Black woman here in America during that time period did not join the damn women's movement. A lot of those movements were centered in urban areas, urban cities, with a select few of Black women. Not denying that they didn't have some kind of impact, but what I'm basically saying is, in order for that to work, in order for the welfare program to work, so the family could be disconnected, that means a large percentage of black men that were with these women, who had babies by these women, had to agree with it. Don't think for 1 second I can't help me find that piece of footage or those writings back then. Help me find one of those pieces where you see a bunch of black men advocating against those programs and saying, baby, please come back. Baby, please. Don't break up the family. Don't break up the family. Don't let these giant churches break up the family. That was not happening. In a lot of cases, black woman, if she had children. She had children maybe by him. It was like, hey baby, shit, we gotta get this money. So act like I'm not here. Well, that takes responsibility subconsciously and consciously. That could take responsibility away from the black man, because a lot of cases, now I'm finna get on the brothers. A lot of cases, a lot of women that I see, yes, these women can make better choices and picking better men. But a lot of times, a lot of these brothers in these situations go right along with that type of behavior. And they don't take responsibility for their seeds because it had already been planted. A lot of these brothers that have babies out of wedlock, that don't raise their children, don't have fathers themselves. I'm not excusing their behavior, but what I'm saying is it's a subculture that's been created within our culture, within our communities, that advocates for this type of behavior. And some men are like, well, hey, my dad didn't raise me, so I ain't gonna take responsibility, because we don't put an emphasis on responsibility of a child. Well, not we. I'm not French. But what I'm saying is that subculture, which I'm not a part of, but that subculture doesn't put an emphasis on a man being present or making a man responsible, so much so to the point where black women, again, I'm gonna tell you why that's bullshit. Why some people in the community claim, hey, you need to take care of children. Black men need to take care of their children, but they don't practice that shit. I'm gonna tell you why. And I'm all over the place, but I don't give a goddamn. This is urgent. I'm just talking some shit. But you wanna know how I don't? You wanna know how I know they don't practice what they preach? Because you have plenty of situations, and please, I'm not talking about every black woman. Please don't get upset. Again, I gotta keep softening these blows for the sisters. The brothers can take a little bit more. They can take criticism a little bit more. Some of y'all can't though. But there is plenty of black women out here who have children with men who already have children by multiple women. And this is one sister right here. I'm put it up. Roll that beautiful beam footage. Here she is talking about this man. She didn't see the signs of this man. She didn't see the red flags. He revealed who he really was when she told him he was pregnant, something along those lines. But ma'am, you knew this man had 3 goddamn babies before you fucked him, before you said put it in. You didn't even encourage this man to wear a condom. You didn't even say, look, I'm good, thank you. I'm gonna find a man who doesn't have any children. I can understand that she was like, I slept with this man and I found out he had other children when we got pregnant. No, she said he had 3 men, not 3 men, he had 3 children before me and him had sex. She knew, she was well aware that he had 3 kids, and she still chose to open it up and pop that thing. He popped that thing back, she got pregnant, and then all of a sudden she's flabbergasted. Oh my God. And this is when the chickens come home to roost. Because unfortunately, black women, single mothers, are the most impacted by these housing eviction notices, because they don't have 2 incomes to support a household. And nowadays, I'm gonna tell black people, you want to know a solution that the media outlets won't say, they won't put out there. If you want to avoid eviction, you gotta have 2 incomes. If you ain't looking for no sister village, or if you're not moving in with your parents or your mother or family members, then guess what? You got to get yourself a man. Men, you got to do better by your women. You got to do better. Because men, y'all gonna need a woman too. Y'all gonna need a second income too. You gotta stop. Brothers, real quick, you can't be homosexuals all your life. Hobosexuals, I can't stand them. I'm a hobophobic. I am a hobophobic, and I'm proud to be a hobophobic. Some of y'all, a lot of y'all, all of y'all, make it worse on everybody else too. God damn. You don't do nothing. You leech off women. A lot of times you leech off single black mothers your damn self. Then you disguise yourself as a helper by doing some silly shit like, well, you know, I could put some, you know what, I can help you out. I'll pay for your gas if you let me drop you off for work. You don't have to drive. I'll drive. I'll just put some gas in your car. Or let it, right? Or let it. I'll get the groceries on your EBT card. Now, again, this is not for... It's true. You're homosexuals, man. Homosexuals got to go. All this sex has got to go. And if you're going to have sex, I'm not trying to police anybody, but damn, use protection. Don't just rely on pulling out. Prenut, you can still get pregnant by that, man. You can still get pregnant by prenut. Y'all too goddamn old to be still believing in that. And understand that the choices you make now will impact the future. And the future is the children. And unfortunately, a lot of y'all kids are out here robbing people, killing people. Look at this stuff right here. Look at these kids, man. Look at these kids, man. Packing. They packing more guns than the military in the school. At school. They not packing books in a backpack. They're packing AKs, choppers, calling another student an op. That's opposition. It ain't just Chicago. These young cats are crazy. In Atlanta, these are young boys harassing people on the street, in the middle of the street, selling some water. You don't think they mamas know they out there selling water? And sometimes they got guns selling water? Huh? I ain't trying to be preaching, but god damn, like, come on. Again, this ain't all black America, but those few that participate in this type of subculture, which I'm just gonna call it for what it is, degenerate behavior, does impact the majority of us. The majority of sane black people. It does impact us. That's a fact. Because we live adjacent to these brothers and these sisters that need some help, but they need accountability too. Yes, we know the system is racism. It's racist. Yes, we know we all suffer from structural racism, but it's some things that we have to take responsibility for. And again, I'm not French, so when I say we, don't think me. I'm thinking y'all. I'm talking about y'all. And I'm making this video because I don't know if things gonna get better. I'm leaning towards, the shit's about to get worse. Again, eviction notice is on the rise. Crime is on the rise. The subculture, not black culture, but the subculture within the black community might start to go backwards and start to get worse again. I'm all over the place. This is a madhouse. This is America. If you got anything to add to this, man, leave a comment down below. Like and subscribe. Until next time, holla.
We not even gonna play like that for no grade. Y'all see them killers in here? Hey, stop playing with my shorties. I know how y'all coming, shorty. What's that word, man? It's about 100 glickers in this bitch.